Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video, it's going to be an audio, but I'm going to have photos throughout that align with what I'm saying, so you do want to watch this. Like, you can get by if you're just listening, but you do want to watch this. Alright, so this is about the new Marvel Legends, they called it a program, batch of figures that are not Marvel vs. Capcom. They are, but they're not. It is not a licensed thing, there's no Capcom involved. These are just Marvel Legends that are made to look like their Marvel vs. Capcom counterparts. And I have to say, this is probably the best thing Hasbro's done in a long time to garner favor with their audience, with their fans, with their customers. I think I can speak for just about everybody when I say the Marvel vs. Capcom games are some of the most iconic in terms of the fighting game series, especially as far as crossovers go. I don't think there's ever been a better look for any character than the looks that they had in those games, and I'm exaggerating, but if you know the games, you know what I'm talking about. They're very well regarded, and I think most people have wanted figures from that line since they made those old toys, those 5-inch toys, forever ago. Now, there's no way, there's no way Capcom's giving Hasbro any licensing, so that's why we have this. It's just the Marvel side with no actual branding, and they actually look like, they look like bootlegs. I mean, because there's no branding, that's what's funny about it. But I think this is a good thing, generally speaking. I understand that Capcom's working with Jada right now, and I'm guessing if Hasbro even tried to get the licensing, Capcom was like, no, thank you. But this'll probably do. I think this is the best we're gonna get. Jada's gonna do their thing. They're gonna make their Capcom stuff, and so is Storm and whoever else. And then Hasbro will do the Marvel side, albeit unofficial. I'm okay with that. I'm personally fairly excited about this. You know, people ask me all the time, why do you even review Marvel Legends if you just hate them? I don't hate the idea of them. I don't hate the line in general. I hate bad business practices and bad products. That's it. If Marvel figures started coming out and they were consistently at least decent, I'd be fine with it. Like, I want them to be good. I want to collect something like Marvel Legends. It's not my fault they've been bad. So I'm excited for this. I think this is a pretty good thing, and I think what they showed is a pretty good showing. And we're going to go through all of it. I'm going to give you some of my take on each of the figures and the thing in general, and then we'll have to wait and see. Because the one thing we don't know, at least one of the things, the main thing we don't know is the pricing. And that's really going to be a key factor here, because if they're going to release these 2-packs at $100 a pop, then I mean, they're not going to live up to that price point. If they're going to be $60, then that's more reasonable. I'm guessing they're going to be about $60, because a lot of them have some new tooling and new accessories, and I think that's going to be enough for Hasbro to try to get up to that $30 a piece price point. If the standard 2-packs are more than $60, that's going to be a pretty tough sell, I think. And I think some of these are going to be a real tough sell anyway, because of their sort of repaint nature, some of them. Now, the big guys, we'll talk about those prices when we get to them. But let's go ahead and dive into it. I want to start with... Let's start with Thanos and Psylocke. I think that's a good one to start with. Why not? What the heck? It doesn't really matter. They're all about the same. So, this one, Thanos, is basically a Thanos we got before. Essentially, he's got a new head and a new color scheme. I think that's fine. I don't think you need much more for Thanos. He's just going to be a big block sitting there. And he does look like his game version, so that's fine. I don't know that anybody really cares about that so much. I think one of the problems this line, this batch of figures, whatever you want to call it, program, as they say, one of the problems it's going to run into is that a lot of people don't need more figures of a lot of these characters to even fit them into an MVC line or display, because a lot of them look close enough, or people just don't care about the specifics. So that might be a tough sell, but Thanos does look like his game counterpart enough. He's probably not quite big enough. I don't think he is, personally. I guess it's probably close enough, but whatever. So Thanos is okay, but then we have Psylocke, and we haven't had a real good Psylocke figure since the original one from Toy Biz, I guess. And this one does look pretty good. She's got a little bit more meat on her bones, so that's nice. They are going back and forth between the sprites and the actual artwork, the character artwork for the game. This one, am I going crazy? I think this one's based on the sprite. Either way, it doesn't matter. She's got the different leg things on there, so she's got a new sculpt for at least the thighs. She's using that new torso. Maybe there's some retooling here and there, but it looks like a decent release. It's got some cool accessories. I think the only real issue that I'm going to have with this thing is it doesn't have a waist twist. It only has that diaphragm joint above the upside down ab crunch, which is a horrible combination. And like, yeah, you can get poses done, but it looks kind of silly when her rib cage is sculpted facing forward, and then her boobs are rotating around on top of that. That's kind of a strange look. It'll be good enough to get her in poses. You can see her relatively standard iconic pose where she's got her butt out and her chest twisted. That's fine. Like, yeah, they'll be able to hit poses and it's going to look generally pretty good, but it does look weird to have her boobs rotating on top of her rib cage. As far as accessories go, she's got a good spread. I think this is going to be a really nice Psylocke purchase, so that's very nice. So yeah, that's a decent 2-pack, and we're going to talk about the whole exclusivity thing at the end, so make sure you stick around for that, because that's kind of another issue we have to talk about. I just want to throw that out there. If you're wondering, hey, he didn't mention it, I will. I want to talk about the figures first, though. Let's get into the meat and taters before we talk about the drama surrounding it. Alright, let's move on to, let's do the War Machine and Omega 2-pack next. I think this is going to be the hardest sell, because we already have a War Machine that matches the in-game sprites. This one matches the artwork, and so, kind of, like the colors don't quite match. It's like a weird mix of the two. And so I don't know if people are going to even care. And even then, we have other War Machines that are pretty close. So the new sculpting on here, like, yeah, it's nice. The new accessories, cool. I don't think people are going to care that much about this. Same thing with Omega Red. We already have a couple of those. And this one's a little bit different. Yeah, they did do some new stuff, but is it enough? I think this one's going to be a really hard sell for most people. I mean, I'm going to get them all to review them, but if I was strictly just getting these as a collector, depending on the price, of course, I'd probably just go all in because I love Marvel vs. Capcom, but I don't think a casual would want to pick this up just because there's not that much being offered that is significantly more valuable. The new sculpt on War Machine, yeah, sure, okay. Couple new accessories, I don't think that's going to be enough to get somebody to buy a whole 2-pack, especially if you don't care about Omega Red, which, do we need a new one? Like, technically, yeah, it's more accurate, sure, but it's still using old parts. They both are, and people are really upset about the pinned legs, and it's like, I don't care about that personally, but if Hasbro's going to make the whole pinless technology one of their main selling points, you got to stop doing it at some point, Hasbro. You have to stop using the thing that you said was terrible, or people are going to think you're silly. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a decent enough 2-pack. War Machine's head looks really goofy in some photos. Most of these photos were taken from a really low angle, and the proportioning looks weird as a result. But it looks like a decent 2-pack. I mean, it's fine. If you're into it, you'll be fine. I think most people aren't going to be that into it personally, though. That's my hunch. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so let's move on to the next of the 2-packs. I will cover Venom and Captain America next. This is one that I think people will be into. Like, okay, also I want to mention, all these figures with the new tooling, I would not be surprised, at least for like the main ones, if we just see them in single carded versions at some point. Like this new Cap, there's no way they're not going to reuse this torso. So yeah, let's talk about Cap. He has a new torso. I don't think the rest of him is new. Maybe it is. I like the idea of the butterfly joints. That's really cool. He still has really tiny shoulders, and you can see in a couple of the shots, his shoulders are tiny, and it makes him look really weird and unheroic. But from the front, he looks alright. His pecs are still kind of strange, and definitely the shoulders are strange. But otherwise, it looks decent. You know, they made a remark in their video, live stream, whatever it is, about him being blue and how the fans aren't going to be happy with it because he's not blue enough. And it's like, how about you don't make fun of the people that are paying your bills? How about that? Because we wouldn't complain if you did a better job. So maybe you shouldn't make comments like that on your live streams. So you get Cap, you get a cool new shield blast type thing, not blast, but effect part. I think that's cool. They should have done one of those a million years ago just because. But we have one now, so that's really nice. And then for Venom, well, it's the same Venom they just released, only in blue. I don't think there's anything new here because the head they already redid. I mean, they did. They said they wanted to include it so that you don't have to repaint it. It's like, okay, thank you. Thank you for including the thing that you already made that's going to cost you a whole of $0.25 to produce. whatever. You get 2 heads. He's still bobble-headed as all hell, and he's on that new body that Warpath is on, and it's just not great. It doesn't match the game. Like, the game looks so much better. He's got this big, goofy head and his tall neck. He's just weirdly proportioned. He's got that toddler build going, and he's got the pinned joints again. So it's like, it's not that good of a release to me, and I don't think most people are going to care. Like, if you're into MVC, you're going to get it, but it's not a special figure of any variety. It's just a blue Venom. That's the same one that they just released with the half and half head. So it's like, okay, this pack, they definitely included Venom with Cap for a reason, because they knew Cap was going to sell, and Venom, this Venom, is not moving units. No way. No way. So that's a bit of a bummer. Cap looks, I mean, for Marvel Legends, Cap looks pretty good. Having the butterfly joint is nice, for sure. Somebody mentioned in one of my, I think my comment section, maybe it was Discord, I don't know, they said how the shoulders look pretty good on all these figures, and I'm like, they look the same as all the other ones. All of the Marvel figures have low, tiny shoulders, at least to some degree, and I'm not literally all, but basically. And so I don't see the improvement he's talking about. But let's talk about the Wolverine and Silver Samurai, not Silver Surfer. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people write out Silver Surfer instead of Silver Samurai, and I do it in my head too. I don't know why. But let's first talk about the Silver Samurai. He does have new parts. Most of them do, like I said, but he's got some new shoulder pads, new skirt stuff, and I think a new head, not counting accessories, to match the game, and that's fine. Like, it was a really good figure to begin with. This is a same thing with just slightly bigger parts. That's fine. I think it was Dwight mentioned he's darker silver this time, so that he looks different than your previous release. Okay, is he supposed to be darker silver based on the game that he's in? Not really. It's not that much darker though, so it's fine. Is it going to be nice and silver? Is there any paint on this guy, or is it all going to be crappy gray, slightly metallic plastic? I'm guessing that, so that's going to be a bit of a bummer. They're going to take a really nice mold and make it ugly with that crappy gray metallic that they do, I think. If they threw some silver paint on there, it'd be gorgeous, so I don't think they're going to do that. But he comes with some cool accessories, except for the fact that his big orange one has like a big peg hole sticking through the disc. It's like, you couldn't come up with anything better than that. That looks ridiculous, so I hate that. The sword one looks pretty cool, so that's fine. But let's talk about Wolverine, because he's the one that I think everybody's most interested in, probably. Looks to be an all-new build. Everything's new on this guy, and he's super squatty and super chunky. And you can argue whether or not the MVC Wolverine is that chunky based on the sprites or the artwork or whatever. I don't really care about that. I think it's fine. I've wanted a chunky Wolverine forever, and they should have done it by now anyway, so it's nice to have one. And if you actually look at it, it doesn't actually look that chunky. It just looks like a comic-style character. So that's nice. Will they execute? I don't know. We'll have to see once he's actually in hand. Like I said, the angling on these shots does not like demonstrate the proportions well. It's not for that. So we don't know yet, but we'll see. The legs look decent. They pinch in at the knees. The quads are bulky as heck. I don't know that the lower legs are actually accurate to the game as much as they could be. I can't say for sure if they're being reused. They look like they might even have ball hinge ankles, so I don't know for sure. The torso is definitely all new. You can still see that the pecs are flat to the chest. There's still no like shelving over where the serratus muscles are toward the armpit, so they still have that Marvel Legends look, but he does have butterfly joints and single jointed elbows with the bicep swivel, so that'll be fine unless you want a deeper elbow, which I think most people would want. It's weird that they cut that out. Like, you definitely can do a double jointed elbow on a thicker figure, so that's super annoying. But overall, he looks pretty good. His face looks good in a lot of shots, but then in some shots, the yellow is huge on his nose, and it makes him look weird, like really weird. So I hope that's not the case, but that side shot does look good, and I'm hoping it's good. I like the effect part that they included. I'm guessing the little stand that they include isn't going to do much to help hold that up, because it's a garbage stand, but it's cool that they're including the effect part, so, and that it works in multiple ways. That's nice too. So they put a little bit of thought into it. I appreciate that, and I just hope it comes out. I hope it comes out looking like something we want to own, rather than them trying to cash in on nostalgia, because they could really go in that direction. But yeah, Wolverine looks pretty good. So that's all of the 2-packs, and I will say, it looks to me like, now that I'm thinking about it, we have Wolverine being the one everyone wants in the Wolverine Silver Samurai pack, And then Omega Red and War Machine, that's just a dud, I think. For Venom and Cap, it's going to be Cap. Nobody's going to care about Venom that much, is my guess. And then for Thanos and Psylocke, I don't think anybody's going to care about Thanos. I mean, not generally speaking. So Psylocke, Captain America, and Wolverine are really the ones people are going to go for. And so, I don't know. I think they chose their 2-packs very wisely for them from a business perspective. Okay, so now the next thing I want to talk about is the Juggernaut figure, which is... I think it's actually a pretty good thing. He's a big chungus, and he should be. Juggernaut's huge in the game, and you can see this Juggernaut is bigger than the old Build-A-Figure style Juggernaut, which they had to pat themselves on the back saying how great that figure was. Was it? Because this one looks a lot better, like a whole lot better. And it wasn't that long ago that you made that, so did you just make it not so great so that you could release another one? Maybe. Maybe not. But this one does look markedly better. Look how goofy the old one looks compared to the new one. Look how much better the new one looks with the shoulders being up high and wide. It's such a better looking figure, like so much better. And I saw somebody, I don't know if it was my comment section or whatever, they said that even the new one doesn't look as good as the Marvel Select. Well, not in the small details, of course, but it definitely looks better overall. He's got a much better shape to him, and that looks nice. Still looks like a Hasbro product, but it does look really good. And the additional articulation, that's cool. The butterfly joint, that's fine. I don't like the way they did their shoulders on this at all. I mean, like, the engineering's fine, but the sculpt on the shoulder, just freaking make it all round. Don't give us that extra round ball connected to his muscles. That looks weird anytime you pose it. Don't do that. Cut out more and just make the shoulder bulkier so the muscles go all the way around. That looks weird, but at least you do get some posability. It looks like it's not going to go forward very far, just like their regular Hulk figures. You'd have to have rubber. It's not rubber. You'd have to have soft plastic on there, like a Maximum Juggernaut. Oh god, did I give them an idea just now? Are we going to get a Maximum Juggernaut? Anyway, this guy looks pretty good. The downside is his knees suck, just like they did before. He can't do a 90-degree bend, so in his standard pose, you can see right here where he's facing off with Cap, he can't get into the right pose because his legs don't bend enough. That's really annoying, but they did give him a toe hinge, so hopefully they did a good job with that, and he can actually stand up, unlike the Maximum Hulk. So yeah, I think the Juggernaut looks really, really good. His little effect piece is nice, that's fine. I like this, I'm excited, but I don't know which ones they gave crazy names, like Super, Mega Deluxe, Ultra figure. Maybe that was just for Shumagorath, I don't remember. But who knows what the heck they're going to charge for this guy. He's going to be way bigger than Hulk, and Hulk was $60 for the Maximum Hulk. So I think we might be in trouble for this one. I'm thinking it could be $80. $80 for Juggernaut is what I'm guessing. And I would not be surprised if they did that. There's no way it's worth that, but I think that's what they're going to do. So it's good looking, though. I think it's going to be a good release. And then the last one we need to talk about is the one, Shumagorath, which is not Shumagorath anymore. It's what is it, Gargantos? Yeah, Gargantos. I guess that's a licensing thing. I think it had something to do with Conan, actually. I don't remember. It's been a while since I heard about that. But it's Shumagorath, and this looks pretty good. So I have some very nice things to say about this, and then some also not, well, one thing that's not great. But it looks nice. It looks really, really nice. The degree to which it will look nice in hand is going to depend on the paint. Because, like, if that eyeball, it does look really good. If that looks great. But if the eyeball is the only thing that looks good, it is not going to matter. If he's just got big green tendrils that don't have any paint on them, like these photos, I'm thinking they're helping it look good with the harsh lighting and the harsh shadows. High contrast like that, it makes it look nice. If it doesn't have any paint on it, really, it's going to look cheap as hell in hand, I think. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping there's some shading of some kind on this guy. Otherwise, that's a whole lot of green. It's going to look like asparagus. And what material are they using to get it to bend like that? That's going to be interesting. Really, really interesting. But he does have the bendy arms, and they seem to bend like you wouldn't believe. So that's really cool. Like, I think they designed this well. It just comes down to the paint. And the other issue I have with it is the size. He's really big. Like, the accessory's cool, but look how big he is compared to Wolverine. He's not that big in the game, not even close. And so you can argue, but in the comics he's big, that's fine, but that's not what this is. This is Gamerverse, he should be a lot smaller. And you could say, okay, but then it would have been hard for them to do the bendy wires. Not really. Smaller things are easier to bend because they don't require as much material around the wire. So I don't know. Is it a good thing that he's big, or is it a bad thing? I mean, accuracy-wise, it's not good, but it's neutral. Who cares what size it is, other than accuracy to the game? But here's the problem: is he's gonna be expensive. He's gonna cost a lot. I'm sure of it. I'm betting you he costs way more than Juggernaut, because they made the point of how he's so big they had to put him in a non-windowed box. And I think he definitely got the Super Mega Ultra Deluxe Combo Breaker, whatever they called him. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a $100 price point for Shumagorath, and $80 for Juggernaut, and then $60 for the other 2-packs. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 2-packs are up in like the $70 or $75 price point, which is it's gonna kill this line. Or it won't, because people will buy it anyway, but you know what I mean. So that's my general rundown on everything other than this one last key point, which is just so frustrating. Why in the world are there so many exclusives for something like this? So we have Wolverine and Silver Samurai. They're a fan channel / Amazon. That should be easy to get, no problem. You have Psylocke and Thanos. They're Target only. Who likes getting exclusives at Target? Not me. Online, it's basically a waste of time. Bots are going to get them all. So forget that. Finding them in store, I never find anything in store, so I can just count that out right now. I'm going to have to go to eBay. So that sucks. Unless they end up at Big Bad or something like that. Like, sometimes that happens, but not always. And then we have Captain America and Venom. That's just going to be a standard release, so those will be everywhere. That should be fine. Shumagorath is fan channel and Amazon, so that should be fairly easy to get. Not counting that it's going to probably break the bank, and some people won't be able to get it in that sense. Then we have Juggernaut, fan channel, Amazon. That should be fine. But then we have the other one, War Machine and Omega Red, Walmart. Is Walmart worse than Target? I don't know. I think they're both awful. I can't find anything in stores, and getting their exclusives online is basically impossible. Now, the thing I will say is, I know some people are going to really want Psylocke, but the Psylocke Thanos pack and the War Machine Omega Red pack, they're not as big a deal. So I guess it's good that those two are exclusives, but none of them should be. This is dumb. I can't imagine they had to do this, because they're not dealing with Capcom. It's just more Marvel Legends. So that they're doing this is really irritating. And yeah, you know what? Maybe there is some kind of reason they had to, and so fine. But it really sucks. And if they didn't have to, then it sucks even harder. And I hate that all this stuff is at least some degree exclusive and hard to get. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Hasbro needs to find ways to earn some goodwill, not ways to piss people off. Like, oh, here's something you wanted forever, from forever ago, and you're not going to be able to get it. Go buy it on eBay. Like, that's a bad business model, if you ask me. But all of that aside, I do think this is generally a good-looking thing. Like, it's still going to be Marvel Legends. They're going to look like Marvel Legends. They will have all of the usual Marvel Legends problems. They have more new parts than I would have guessed they were going to do, so that's nice. Maybe they will charge more and make them premium. They're not going to do that. We all saw the Maximum Hulk. He had less paint than the regular release. So they're not going to do that. So just here's what I would say. As far as expectations go, expect them to be Marvel Legends. Expect them to be the same Marvel Legends you already own, with slightly different parts and slightly different paint and some new accessories. And if you're good with that, then get it and enjoy it. Buy some Jada figures to put them up against, and you'll be a happy camper. That's what I'm going to do. Or Storm Arena. We'll see. But I think this is a generally good thing. As far as Hasbro products go, if they're going to make stuff, this is what I want them to be making. I'd rather have an average Marvel vs. Capcom lineup than average characters I've never heard of, or MCU stuff. So I think this is pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little bit excited, and I'm curious what you guys think. So let's talk about it in the comment section below. That's enough talking from me. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.